The final ending of The Standout, Part 1 down below. She was 23 when we first started dating. She is now 32. Sorry for the confusion. No problems in our marriage other than things were getting a little stale the last couple months while we worked and got my business going, but we still enjoyed being with each other all the time we had. If that was the death knell of a marriage, then most would not survive. She has been out of the house for over a month. She is moving all her stuff out next Saturday and it is all boxed up. Divorce will be final in May. She is renting an apartment in our city for 6 months until she decides what she wants to do. She is considering moving to the other state where OM lives with his brother and sister-in-law apparently. My wife has basically withdrawn from everyone except her family because no one understands or approves of her decision. Her family doesn't approve of it, but they obviously love her. Someone has obviously gotten to her to slow things down because she was desperate initially about moving to be with OM immediately. I've run into several of her personal friends and they can't believe how quickly she gave up on our marriage and how out of character all this is for her. I think she equates a healthy marriage with the same feelings she gets from being in love. She has just now started telling some co-workers we are getting divorced. I'm sure there is spin on her version. She can't tell them she had an affair with a co-worker in another office they know. I took down all photos and reminders of her the first week she was gone. Amazing how helpful it was. The healing really does get better every day. I am getting more and more comfortable being alone and don't miss our life as much as I did even last week. I bought a bunch of new clothes and am working on getting in the best shape I've been since college. Also, I think it is fortuitous that spring and summer are coming since the longer days and outdoor activities will keep me busy and moving forward. I don't want her back. We can't unring this bell. I would like her to grovel so I can say get out. Other than that, stay out of my life. Her friends know the real story since my wife told them. It has scared all the husbands apparently because so surprising. In fact, she told her friends there was an affair and they thought it was me. They were shocked it was her. As for her coworkers, part of our divorce settlement agreement is that I don't tell her coworkers because she and other man could be fired. I don't care at this point. I just want to move on and let her have the other man with his 3 little kids who will hate her, other man's lack of income because all his money will go to alimony and child support and life in a town she has never even visited before. I tell everyone who asks me about my wife that she had an affair and left me for the other guy. I'm not ashamed since I did nothing wrong. Obviously, there are some things I could have done better, but they are no different than any other relationship of 9 years, I think. My wife is the weak person here with no integrity and no understanding what love is. At this point, I am trying to end the marriage as quickly as possible with as much of my financial assets as possible. I don't care what people who don't know me and I have never met think about our marriage. I know the truth and everyone who knows us knows the truth. My wife even told her friends the truth. At this point, she has alienated everyone she knows and her life is basically other man and her family who is disappointed in her. My wife's mom even said she loves me more than my wife because this was so deceitful and sinful. Other man will never be accepted by my wife's family. My wife has a sad life right now outside of OM, and knowing my wife, she won't be able to stay away from this guy, so the affair will become obvious at work without my intervention. I am hoping this relationship with OM drags on through early May. By then, the divorce becomes final. My greatest concern right now is their relationship blows up before the divorce becomes final, and then I have a disgruntled wife during the divorce proceedings. I have been playing the nice guy until this thing gets done. I have not spoken with her parents in several weeks. The comment above was shortly after my wife told her parents she was choosing other man. I sometimes find myself wanting to rush out and find some new woman, but I want to get comfortable being alone and just have fun for a while and meet new women. I draw a distinction between covering for the cheater and working on reconciliation. For example, I knew when I told my mom about the affair, she would never want anything to do with my wife. So, my options were telling her, and if we worked it out, then never see my mom again with my wife, or wait and see how things unfolded, and if we reconciled, then people like my mom would not know what ever happened and treat us normally. You can't ring the bell. I agree, if the decision is to divorce, then the gloves are off. Anyone who asks me about her now gets the full truth about what happened, and I am not ashamed of all. I did nothing wrong. I sometimes wonder why OM's wife hasn't reached out to me. Is that normal that she would? I'm waiting until my divorce is final before I contact her. Don't want to rock the boat until the finances and divorce are nailed down. I've concluded my wife is the kind of person who chases her feelings. If she doesn't have butterflies anymore, she doesn't think she loves someone. Love is not a feeling because it is susceptible to change. Love is a choice, but she doesn't get that. During our attempt at reconciliation, she wanted to do a book called Love Dare. It is actually pretty good. There was a section on love is a choice and lust are not love. I noticed she had a problem with every section that didn't jive with her feelings for other man. Once I let go of my wife a month ago, it has been very liberating. I am getting used to being alone and enjoying life with friends. I am looking forward to my new life. I can't compete with new. Bonding is new, interests are new, ideas are new. With OM and I'm a known commodity to my wife. Doesn't mean we can't have fun, it's just the newness is something I don't have. My wife finally moved all her stuff out of the house today. I am glad to be done with her, although the house is a little empty. The fact that a single decent-looking professional fun guy is in demand is true. I was worried that age 41 was little old for some women, but not at all. I am constantly getting hit on now and getting set up with women. And these are attractive quality women. I'm also surprised how many women notice I don't have a wedding ring on. I don't notice whether a woman has a wedding ring on, to be honest, but they are all talking about the fact I don't have one on. Went to a St. Patrick's party yesterday and there was a lot of interest. I'm a little hesitant to do anything before my divorce is final in early May because I don't want to get my wife riled up and want to contest the divorce or our agreements. Definitely makes the future exciting. I don't really care anymore, and if I tell she could possibly challenge the agreement since that is part of the deal. Just no upside, and I'm done focusing time on her. I need to move forward. I don't plan on rushing into any marriage. Ideally would date for 2 to 3 years before I would consider marrying anyone. I would like to have kids. I understand you don't have to be married to have kids, but I'd prefer to be. I'm a relationship kind of guy, so I can't see myself being single for 10 years or something. Quick update and a setback. My wife moved all her belongings out of the house last week. Now we are wrapping up the last of the financial issues. She keeps telling me she is entitled to half the furniture, and I say I was entitled to not have a wife screw another guy, but we don't always get what we want. I was removing my wife from our credit cards and noticed she has visited OM twice in the other state. Really angered me to know she was spending our money on dinners and hotels to bang this guy. My wife called and I yelled at her and called her every name in the book. First time I have melted down in anger since she admitted the affair 4 months ago. She started crying and I backed down. What a heartless bee. She used our frequent flyer miles to visit OM. She literally doesn't have any problem charging her escapades on our credit card. So disrespectful. Our divorce will be final the first week of May and she can't wait until then. I hate that I feel bad about yelling at her. I am doing really well except when I hear from her. I cannot wait to be rid of her. She doesn't understand why everyone won't just accept what is going on. I always had firm boundaries. I was the more dominant one in our relationship, and one of the problems in our marriage was my wife apparently assumed I wouldn't like or approve of many things, though she never asked and I wouldn't have cared. My wife was actually surprised I didn't throw her out of the house after she disclosed the affair. That was my first lack of boundaries. It is clear my wife moves from obsession to obsession. Her whole life is now other man. Her family won't hear from her for days. She has told her family she is moving to OM State in August. It is not healthy that her focus is the man she is with. I enjoyed it at the beginning and just thought she really loved me. Now I see it as a major flaw. She only had the one boyfriend before me, so I didn't see a pattern. Now I look back and see she cut that guy out ruthlessly after focusing on him for years. Same thing happened to me. It will happen again. It felt very good to let loose with my true feelings finally. I had planned to wait to give her my angry thoughts until after the divorce is final. I just lost it though when I see she's been on 2 vacations with the guy in the 5 weeks since I filed divorce. She is head over heels for other man. She is getting a separate credit card so I don't have to see what she is up to. Only negative was that I had a hard time sleeping last night because the whole incident stirred up anger and old emotions of her being with the OM again and sleep with him. The only thing other man might have on me is being better looking, although I don't know what he looks like. I've just heard her say her coworkers think he's good looking. I think she will continue to tire of guys, not know why, and then move on. What makes me sick is that even today, a month plus since she has been gone, I still miss her some days and can't believe this happened. I never saw this coming. I am going on my first date this weekend. Very attractive woman with no kids and a very lucrative job. Almost a 180 from my wife, very strong and independent. I've come a long way from the guy who let his wife have time to decide whether she wanted me or other man. I've lost 25 pounds and people think I look so good. I know I was not a perfect husband and I don't plan to jump into a new long-term relationship for several reasons, and that is 1, I want to continue to take stock of what I did wrong to better myself for the next woman. I have done a lot of self-analysis. I knew I was to blame for several things in my marriage, but my wife never communicated that it bothered her even though I was not happy with myself. In the end, I truly believe nothing was going to prevent her from leaving. She just lost interest and chased another butterfly. She doesn't know how to handle her own feelings and ask what she wants. My goal had always been to please her, but she never had any requests, and I was left guessing or content to not do more. Taking her for granted is definitely a takeaway. I have done a lot of introspection over the last few weeks regarding my actions in our marriage. In fact, I've been unable to sleep at times because I can't stop analyzing what I did wrong. How do you handle introspection without feeling regret that if you had done something different, you would have saved your marriage? I can't help but feeling like I caused all this when I look at myself. I am struggling with this. I am the first to admit I took my wife for granted the last few months before the affair. My new business and stress took a lot out of me. I didn't want to fail us. As a trial attorney, I am a strong personality and opinionated. My wife says she felt she was walking on eggshells and being judged. Although I didn't judge her, she would hear my opinion and then not speak up if she disagreed, sort of self-imposed judging of her by me. She admits she didn't communicate any unhappiness or sad feelings to me. I thought she liked me being opinionated. We have a lot in common, but she tended to agree and adopt my opinions as our opinion. Only after I did, I learned she sometimes disagreed with my opinions but didn't want to tell me because she thought I would judge her negatively. If I got angry about something, she shut down and became quiet instead of standing up for her position or self. Her sisters told her they wished she would have told them about her unhappiness before and she told them she wasn't always unhappy, just sometimes. My introspection has filled me with guilt that had I been less opinionated and blunt, had I been less stubborn or more inquiring about her feelings, I would have saved our marriage. I want introspection to better myself for the next go-round, but it makes me feel so guilty and sad that I screwed this one up. We really were very happy during 90% of our marriage. This didn't seem like one that should end, and that's what hurts so bad. No vices, flirting, cheating, abuse, financial problems, family problems, lies, until her affair. For me, introspection is leading to feelings of regret and guilt for ruining a marriage that I truly loved. Woke up this morning from a dream in which I was being a jerk to my wife. My post was the result. Needed a slap in the face. I'd been doing well until I got in an argument with my wife about her spending money to visit other men, and she started crying and saying that's why our marriage failed. It has been bothering me all week. I don't think my imperfections caused her to cheat. That's on her. I hate thinking I didn't do my best at all times to be a good husband, and I created a situation where she was unhappy, unknown to me, which is the last thing I wanted. It's basically just me wishing for a do-over, which is not possible. In her time of weakness, she failed, not me. She also failed to communicate any unhappiness, nor did she try to work on our marriage. She just gave up. I was willing to work on us, but she was already hooked on the feelings with other men. One more month until I'm done with her. I do fine when I don't hear from her, but as we get closer to the final divorce hearing, we have had more interaction to finalize all the details. I think she meant that I got angry and gave my opinions, and she felt powerless to stand up to me and defend herself. She said she has no other money to do this stuff. I think she's visiting OM this weekend for third time since we separated in mid-February. Their relationship has consisted of nights at hotel rooms, rainbows and unicorns. We're a month away from divorce, and she's been on 3 weekend getaways with OM that I am essentially spending half the cost on because all money we earn right now is split. Serenity now. When we were splitting up household items, she kept saying she's entitled to half. I responded that I was entitled to not have a wife screw another guy, but life isn't always fair. I always refer to other man as the married father of 3, and it pisses her off. Pretty funny. Unbelievable that you can have an affair and break up a marriage and still feel entitled to your share of stuff. The final divorce dates. May 2nd. Can't come soon enough. This limbo stage is awkward for dating. People want to set me up but understandably want to wait until I'm single. It will also be nice to finally be done with my wife. Just seeing her name pop up on a text or email makes me sick, sad, angry, etc. For the most part, I'm in a good place. My life alone feels normal now, and I'm keeping very busy and enjoying myself. It's only occasionally that I have a bad day. Sunday was tough. My sister-in-law asked me to come to church with her and my brother-in-law. I thought it would be good to see them, but all it did was bring back memories. I decided I can't see her family anymore. That was a bad idea. On a positive note, it is getting hard for me to remember the good times with my wife, so that makes this easier. I am very excited about the future and dating in particular. I don't go a day without someone trying to set me up with a quality woman. I'm going to have my hands full when this divorce is final. I have told my friends I enjoyed being married to my wife and didn't want it to end, but if it has to, I'm excited about my current situation. Not a bad fallback position. Getting closer to the finish line. My wife is so infatuated with other man that she just met his parents. We've only been separated 2 months. I think it's beyond bizarre. They are both still married. I can't imagine as a parent meeting your son's married girlfriend and the one who broke up your son's marriage and family. These two are meant for each other. I found out my wife met OM's parents from a mutual friend. I told him I don't want to know anything else about my wife, but he told me that info before. In my state, our assets are joint until the divorce decree is final. Filing the divorce does not prevent her from still having a right to a portion of my paycheck, for example. 15 days until it is over. Sometimes I still can't believe this is happening. Literally, every time I see a new group of people, I know I get hugs from the girls and no one can believe it. We were so happy and it showed. My wife is dead and this new person is like a child. I am in the best shape I've been in since college and have enjoyed the single life so far. It's the what the hell happened question that still bothers me sometimes, and I know there is no answer. I had one friend say I guess she hated taking vacations all the time, being financially secure, having a loyal, loving husband who was fun, no problems in the marriage and little conflict, and a husband who liked hanging out with her. She clearly doesn't appreciate how rare it is what we had. What makes me angry is she never voiced any complaints or asked me to do anything better. Just sat there and wanted to chase feelings. Comment, she's just in for a very abrupt awakening. Her other friends know how difficult it is to find a decent man. You can bet this a fair partner, by definition, has none of the character traits you possess. She will be standing with a dropped jaw when the new wears off and he starts showing her how he really is and how much he values himself over her. And he will see the same from her. It would be nice to be a fly on the wall when it all hits the fan. She will likely call you up out of friendship and tell you all about how the AP screwed her over and wasn't who she thought he was and how foolish she was to let you go. I'd listen to all of it, then tell her that you agree it was foolish, and hang up the phone and block her. Your wife has serious emotional problems. Stop trying to figure it out and ruminating on it. See it like she died of cancer or something. The women are nuts. Accept it. You were happy, but it was a facade. It was never going to last. Again, she is not emotionally equipped to do that. Quit trying to understand crazy. That's how you become crazy. You were doing better in the beginning of this thread. Just cause your ex-wife was a lemon doesn't mean all women are. There are good times ahead for you. Let it go. Start to get excited about your future. You know, maybe it's going to be even better. OP responds, I hear you. We have had more interaction the last week as we wrap up some final things for the divorce. For example, she has had 2 realtors appraise the value of our house, and because she still doesn't like the number, she is having it appraised Friday by an appraiser. I get about 5 texts or emails a day about this crap. So ready to be done with her. You guys have made some great points. I do appreciate your thoughts. I've lost 27 pounds since Thanksgiving and I'm in fantastic shape. I am so busy I don't know how I ever fit a wife in my life. I've got about 5 women that people want to set me up with once this divorce is final. I have had so much fun being single. I do better when I don't hear from her. The end is near. I knew none of this back then, obviously. She dated one guy all through college who hung out with his friends constantly. She would either hang out with her boyfriend and his crew or she stayed home. He cheated on her and she hung around loyally. Then she just dropped the guy like a sack of potatoes shortly after getting her first job. We met about 2 to 3 months later at work. The rest basically played out as you say. Bought a Range Rover in February knowing the end was near. I think I did everything I could to save my marriage. We went on 2 vacations, we spent time together, I did things she said I failed to do in our marriage, and I attacked their relationship verbally and exposed it to her family, who also railed against it. My wife is just in love with OM and not me. She doesn't know the difference between lust and love. OM lives 1,000 miles away, so I'm not flying there just to confront him, and I'm not going to risk losing my law license and livelihood over that. If the only way my wife would stay with me is if I got in a fistfight with her boyfriend, then I don't want her. Besides, I think she would say I'm being mean to him. I didn't want to lose my wife, but it wasn't my choice. She picked the other guy. She was going to file divorce if I didn't. In fact, when I filed divorce, she was on a physical romp trip with the other man in Seattle. Saving the marriage isn't an option because she doesn't want it. I don't think I gave up too easily. For 3 months I tried to work on it. All the while she thinks of the guy and refuses to work on our marriage. She told me she wants to end the marriage, not me. Even when I was busy with work for just 2 months, I saw my wife every night and came home for dinner. I had just started a new business. If I can't be away from her for that little time, then how committed was she? I am a good husband and I enjoyed spending time with my wife. In fact, she was my best friend and I hung out with her over my own friends. We were very close. I don't think she even knows what happened. I used to have hope she would come back, but I don't anymore. I do want the pain to stop and it is getting better, but I get lonely sometimes and miss the life I had. I was genuinely a happily married man and thought we would never be apart. I've had some great times recently, but I do miss the companionship we had. This board has been very helpful to share my story and hear what others have done on the same path. My sadness is not that I want her back, it's just that this sucks and I hate that it happened. At times, I find myself saying her loss and good riddance. She's the one who is going to have the terrible life. But I was happy and never wanted anything more in life than what I had. My life was perfect. I had a beautiful wife who I thought loved me, financial security, a nice home, travel, and friends. I want to forget our life. I have hope for the future and I'm genuinely excited. I'm in a better spot than most betrayed spouses since I am very outgoing and have lots of friends looking out for me. Believe me, I view her as a ticking bomb now, and I'm glad I escaped now and wasn't 10 years down the road with kids. And I don't want someone who would do this to me. She has been very mean and selfish. I think only time and new experiences will get me to where people are. Update: divorce became final yesterday. Expected it to be more emotional than it was. Actually, felt little emotion. My ex-wife was trying to keep it lighthearted. She said I looked good, that my suit was probably the only one that fit me because I've lost 27 pounds. And she said my work bag has a tear in it and that I should get a new one. After the divorce was final, she asked if she could get a hug. I said I wasn't going to hug her back and she tried some awkward hug, and then I said I was going to the bathroom so we didn't have to walk out together. I was very distant during the whole event and wasn't going to make nice. Surprisingly, despite the need for me to move money today, I did not hear from her all day except an email telling me I'm covered on her health insurance through the end of May. I really don't have any emotional response to the divorce being final since this has been the status in my mind for over a month. Decided to get on dating site last night and already have 30 likes from women. Kind of crazy. Thanks for everyone's thoughts throughout this nightmare. I'm in a good spot. Just sometimes can't believe this happened. People who haven't seen me in a while still ask me if we are pregnant yet. I tell them no, and in fact we're divorced. Everyone is shocked and I tell them I am too, so they have to be. I am looking forward to seeing what life has in store for me and will update as things unfold. I talked about all this with my sister and I think she makes a good point. My ex-wife doesn't want to feel bad about what she's done. She likes hearing that I'm doing well and wants to be friends so she doesn't have to face how awful she is. I am not playing along. I really want to use this time to get to know myself better, get in the best shape of my life, and just have fun. I have no desire to get into a new serious relationship right now. This was the first time in my life any woman cheated on me, so I don't have any reference point. I know most women aren't like my ex-wife, and I know I have a lot to offer women. My ex-wife's story and crazy decision to leave me for a man who has no quality that is better than me actually has made the process easier because it makes no sense to anyone. I will learn from the experience and do a little better in the couple areas I got lazy about next time around. I am looking forward to having fun and sampling all the great women out there. These last couple weeks have been some of the most fun times of my life, even with all the divorce crap looming over my head. One great thing is that every woman I know thinks of me as the innocent victim in all this, so I have major appeal for them to recommend me to their single friends. Update: divorce was final weeks ago. Besides sending some checks to my wife, I have not heard from her, nor have I communicated with her since in any way. Hard to believe two people who were so totally and completely in love have nothing to do with each other. I sometimes wonder what she's up to and if she thinks of me when I see something that triggers a memory. Anyway, my life is fantastic. As many here predicted, I am slaying it out here. I went on 3 dates with 3 different women last week, and I have another one coming over tonight. There is a shortage of good guys for sure. Now, I've gotten 110 likes from women. I have lost 35 pounds and am in the best shape since college 20 years ago. For those of you going through a cheating spouse, it will get better with time. I was a wreck from November to February. I have used this time to work on myself and do all those things I thought I'd always get around to. Also, because I was cheated on, women are eager to set me up with other women and they are sympathetic. I can honestly say I love my life. Another one. My married friends were all living vicariously through me. Funny how when you are in the eye of the hurricane, you think the world is ending. I cried alone in my car one morning. I just didn't think I could go on. That was over a year ago. I'm happy to report that a year later it all seems like a dream. I had the summer of my life in 2017. I think we worry too much about the unknown. We all deserve happiness. You don't deserve to be treated poorly. Know this, the script is reversed after you turn 30. The number of decent guys over 30 is way less than the number of good women. You will be very sought after. I'm not bragging here. I had more good times since I got divorced than I did in college, and it's only been a year. And with smoking hot women. One was a beauty pageant winner, for crying out loud. Ages 26 to 43 and I'm 42 years old. But I want guys going through this to know it will get better. You will be happy. Don't give up. Focus on yourself. I lost 40 pounds and got in the best shape of my life. Learn something from the nightmare. Even if she was the cheater, your actions or choices played a small role in the marriage failure. Accept that and grow from this expensive lesson. Don't be ashamed of what happened. I tell anyone who asks what happened, and I'm not ashamed. It's a reflection on her that she cheated. Women will love that you were the loyal victim. And I have talked with 2 to 3 guys who are going through this to help them from my experience. I'm happy to report I've been dating a great 31-year-old girl for the past 5 months, and we are very happy. She is the younger sister of a girl I went to high school with. It feels right since I know all about her family and she knows mine. I'm not sure we will ever get married, but if we do, it is going to require prenups and postnups. I am not going through the financial mess again. It's like a business. You don't go into business without knowing how things will play out if the business dissolves. The same should be true about marriage. Don't be scared to love again, but don't be a fool and think it's going to last forever. I'm not counting on her loving me forever. If anything, I'm skeptical of the life partner thing, and if it happens, great. If not, then I know I've survived the worst life can throw my way. I didn't realize it at the time, but my ex-wife did me a favor and I've never been happier. Lots of questions about the ex. My ex moved to Virginia to be with the other man and his 3 kids in August. I assume he is going through his divorce. I have only heard from her twice since then, asking for tax info. She tried to be upbeat and I just send her the info she wants without comment. I do not care to know what she is up to. I hope it works out for her, but I know she will regret it one day. I am still close with one of her sisters and their family is still very disappointed with her, and they don't hear much from her anymore. They say she is so stubborn she wants to prove this was the right move. It has definitely created a wedge in her family. I actually like that she has moved away so I don't have to run into her. To this day I still don't know what the other man looks like. That is old news in my old life. It seems like a distant memory. Really happy with where I'm at. Thanks for all the well wishes and thoughts throughout this. I waited until my divorce was final as well before dating. I think it's good to get some healing and time alone. Plus, it avoids the awkward conversations with women I'm going through a divorce so technically still married. You don't even know how much fun you are going to have. Just wait. Women will throw themselves at you. Just be careful not to get someone pregnant. My comment: I must admit that I have seen many situations on here such as this. Woman leaves a happy marriage, financial, emotional, and physical, to someone has everything going for him, for someone else who doesn't seem to have nearly as much going for him and who also seems to have lots of problems. It has to be a cliche. She had to become someone else in order to go through with this. What you and her family, your friends, are seeing is her grasping at some piece of herself that is buried from the past. It is completely unpredictable when she will come to take her daggers out of you and let them fall to the ground. Move forward as kindly as possible. She will regret the nature of these actions.